it going, everyone? Welcome to the PanGeekery podcast, a weekly live video podcast celebrating all things geek from an all-diverse perspective. And we're going to be talking about film, TV, video games, comic books, all the things covering all the nooks and crannies of fandom. My name is Earl Balon. My favorite Star Trek episode is The Light.
All right, I am Jen Zhang. My favorite Star Trek episode is to be determined because I haven't seen any.
Hey guys, my name is Caitlin Faye, and my Star Trek my Star Trek episode, the one that I created,
you created.
My favorite Star Trek episode, Star Trek.
Do you need some help?
Huge fan. My favorite Star Trek episode is the one I just saw.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Hey guys, it's Walter, and my favorite Star Trek episode, unlike I don't remember the title, but it was actually a specific Star Trek Voyager episode.
Okay.
Or was it? No, sorry. It is TNG. When Yar hooked up with Ensign Kim.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Remember that episode?
Yeah, absolutely.
I was like, yeah, boy.
Represent.
Yar. And today we are joined at the table by Mr. Tony Beacon.
Tony. Okay.
We're going to be talking to him a little bit later, but first we're going to go into some shout-outs. So our sponsors, thank you to PWC, Filipina Worker Center, pwcsc.com.
Org.
I'm going to remember
Till
that
now.
one day. Thank you for housing us in this awesome facility, pwcsc.org.
Check them out and support them.
Yes, sir. So we're going to be talking a lot of things. We're going to be talking about a lot of things. First of all, we're going to talk to Tony here. Then we're going to talk about some Star Trek Picard, some Jean-Luc Picard.
Yes.
And finally, our dream ships, our OTPs, because it is Valentine's Day. Well, there's also one thing we're going to be talking about, but we'll talk about that later. Hey, what's up to everybody in the chat? Guts Heat, what's up?
Hey
Hi.
guys, how's it
What's
going?
up? Manok with a 4.
Manok.
And Aaron Nabis, what's up?
Hey.
How's
What's up,
it?
Aaron?
Hey, Aaron Nabis.
Do jump up into chat, and we will try to get to you as soon as we can. So, we are going to talk about Oscars. That's what I was trying to be secretive about for some reason. But first, Tony, what's up, man?
Hey,
Hi,
man.
Tony.
How's it going?
Hey, Tony.
Thanks for having me.
So Tony
Glad
is
you're
from
here.
HeroWithinStore.com. Would you like to tell us what that is?
Yeah, so we're a subtle and sophisticated geek fashion line, officially licensed with Marvel, DC, Star Trek.
Yeah.
And we create clothing that you can kind of wear out not only to your favorite con, but out socially, out on a date, out at events, all kind of occasions. And so, yeah, that's what we do.
And I see that you're wearing
Yes.
something from your line, right?
Yeah, I'm
it's
wearing,
Batman.
Yeah, this is
influenced?
our Batman 80
Nice.
years hoodie. So
For those of
Nice.
you who can't see, he's got a little Batman icon attached to his zipper.
Yes,
Oh, that
and
is-
Wow.
If
Now that
you-
is
And on his side.
snazzy.
if you I'll reveal the Batman. Here you go. So.
Wait.
Oh,
wait.
he's lifting his hood. Whoa!
There's a Batman shadow
like
on his
the-
back.
It's
Yeah.
like the Hush logo.
Yes.
Wow. That's
It is the Hush logo.
That's such
is.
smart.
Yeah.
And I realized too that the tail end of the back kind of conjoins in the front
Oh, it
where you
does.
zip it up.
Yeah.
Looks
It's a
very
sharp
high
That's
quality.
really
quality.
smart
The Hush
design.
logo.
So you know what? We're just kind of tired of the typical T-shirt and hoodie that's out there for fandom, and so
Yeah.
we kind of create something that gives more options to express what you love.
What is
Cool,
what is
cool.
this made of? What you're wearing right now?
It's a kind of poly spandex blend, so it's got
Nice.
poly, little cotton, little spandex for
Oh,
stretch.
little
so
bit of
it
everything.
moves and it breathes.
Yeah,
then,
yeah,
so
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
It's
awesome.
active.
So it's not your like typical like kind of all cotton or whatever.
So I can wear it when I'm doing vigilante work.
Right. Yeah.
It's also bulletproof.
Yeah.
So Batman could wear this.
Don't test it, guys.
Don't test it. Please don't.
I would just have to put that out there.
It's bulletproof, it's stab proof, it's fireproof, but read the fine print. Okay, 'cause none of that's guaranteed. But
Will do.
So, speaking about wearing things on occasions, an occasion happened this past Sunday, which was yesterday.
I thought it was Valentine's
Church,
Day today.
the opening of the
You said it was-
XFL.
you said
XFL.
You said it's Valentine's Day
Oh,
today.
sorry.
That's why I was like, so.
Sorry. I'm sorry, it's not Valentine's Day today. I can never remember, apparently.
It's the week of.
It's a week of.
Yeah.
But yesterday was the Oscars.
92nd annual.
Yeah, 92nd annual Oscars.
Wow.
It's a lot of
Right.
stuff that
My
happened yesterday.
goodness.
Oh my God. 4 big things happened.
Tell us.
Yeah, what
4
were those for?
Oscars for Parasite.
Woo!
Yeah.
Congratulations, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Congrats to Bong Joon-ho and the producers and everyone else who made that movie.
Right.
Fantastic. I thought it was.
That was easily my
still haven't seen it.
favorite film in maybe the past 3 years. I
And
think.
I mean,
Have you seen it, Tony?
I have. It's
Okay,
incredible.
so the cool
Yeah.
people have seen it.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
now
it's
we've talked it
incredible.
all up for the
course.
rest of you, and you're not going to like it as much.
Totally, yeah. You're gonna find it overrated.
well, I feel like that I've got some friends who saw it and they're like, oh, it's underwhelming. Because I think that they got hyped up
of course,
so much.
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
too. Yeah,
Yeah, that's their fault.
but
you buy into the hype.
someone predicted last time that Parasite would win.
It was
I
me.
predicted that it would win as well.
No.
No, I predicted it as well.
You did?
I did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So more cool people
Right.
called the shots.
I mean, I think the biggest takeaway from Parasite winning the awards was just the memes coming out of it, especially
Oh.
They're
with him
great. They're
loving the award.
Yeah. Bong Joon-ho
Oscar.
making the kiss.
I think he's still drinking. You guys.
There's
I
a
would
lot
still be
of
drinking.
yeah.
Me too.
There's a lot of
Who
iffy
says
stuff
I'm
going
not?
on too.
You know what
There's a
what I
lot of
thought was
iffy
really
stuff.
cool with Parasite is that the movie is really about social class division between the haves and have-nots. We kind of saw that with all the big Oscar nominees, like Joker, Little Women. Like there's like this theme of like we live in a world where
Right.
there's disparity.
Inequity.
Yeah, and so it's kind of
Yes.
cool that we're kind of seeing these themes like addressed in creative ways.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. It was
Um,
it was
Oh, no.
interesting to see how the movie was received at the Oscars. It was embarrassing at times how American audiences responded.
Oh, of
I mean, there were
course.
people
yeah.
surrounding the cast or surrounding John Cho in the audience who has nothing to do with Parasite. Happens to be Korean, but they were congratulating him.
Admittedly, I think
when
he
they
was
won
sing
the
next
award.
to the cast. So
Yeah,
but
yeah,
he
I
should
know.
have
the
recognized
crew.
John
It's
Cho.
so bad,
Cho.
but it's John Cho. Come on,
Yeah.
But it's not like
he's American.
Brad Pitt's hanging out with the cast of
1917.
Being congratulated
and they're
for
like, hey, good job on
1917.
Yeah,
Other white guy.
this is true.
That's not happening. Right?
This is true.
And there was that one interviewer on the red carpet that asked Bong Joon-ho, like, why did you decide to make your film in Korean?
I don't know, maybe because he's Korean. The story is about class disparity in Korea.
Korea.
The whole cast is Korean. The production company is Korean. It's a foreign language film. Everything's Korean. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. How
Sorry.
dare they not make it in
I
English?
swear to God. Sorry, go
No,
ahead.
no, I'll just say big shout out to Bong Joon-ho. His acceptance speech as a best
Yes.
director.
Right.
It was
Yeah.
all
Tears.
it was all directing and uplifting his influences and people
Right.
inspiring
Yes.
him. It was
Yeah.
like so
So
classy,
humble.
super classy.
Oh.
Seeing
He
Martin
mentioned Lino
Scorsese.
Broca, didn't he?
Yeah.
Huh? Sorry?
Oh no, he mentioned Lino Broca as
Oh,
a Broca,
wow.
as a Filipino filmmaker.
Oh,
as
amazing.
As
I
an
missed that.
influence, yeah.
As well, yeah, one of his places.
Yeah.
Seeing like Martin Scorsese light up and go like,
And everybody
like a
stand
proud
up.
grandpa.
Yes.
Just-
And even Quentin threw up some peace signs
Oh,
too.
yeah,
He
Quentin
he
always
kept throwing
does
up the
that.
peace sign.
But hey, the coolest moment I thought was when one of the producers, I guess, said a few words, and then they started dimming the lights, and then
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Tom
the audience
Hanks
is like,
was like,
Yeah.
lights up, lights up.
Tom
which,
Hanks.
which I thought was a perfect picture of how we get equal representation. Is
Yes.
it takes
Right.
the majority sort of controlling class lifting up
Yes.
others, other voices, and so it's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Chills.
Beautiful moment.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I do want to recognize also like Taika Waititi. I don't know if you guys
Yes.
saw
What did he
that.
win again?
For
Jojo
for
Rabbit.
screenplay
Yes.
for Jojo Rabbit, but
And
he
his
also
speech was
yeah, in the speech he gave
Yeah.
a shout out also to the Native Americans, whose
Indigenous
land, the
peoples.
indigenous people that originally belonged here
These
in,
stories and-
in
yeah,
West
it was-
LA, and
man.
that was cool. That was
Yeah.
because all the years no one's ever done that.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
You know, he was able
Wow.
to do that, so that was awesome. Shout out to
That's amazing.
Shout
Taika,
out my
yeah.
boy Taika.
Yes,
Come on our
what's up,
show.
Taika?
Still, still Oscar so white, but at least
Yeah.
some progress.
Well,
I mean,
Indeed.
the opening, the Steve Martin and Chris Rock banter about
Right.
talking about like back then there was no black nominees.
Right.
Today we only have one.
92 years ago.
They're like, yeah, there's progress.
I'm saying the crazy thing is still that like the reaction of the general American public to
Yeah.
Parasite.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
I'm just a little confused.
Y'all are racist. Straight up. Y'all are racist AF.
God.
Like,
Must be nice
check
to have
your
TV.
racist.
Yeah.
Watch the film though, if you
Yes.
haven't already.
With that, we are going to move on to talking with Tony some more.
Yay, Tony!
So,
As he- there you
like,
go.
what was the beginnings of Hero Within?
Yeah. I was for many years, like all of you guys, going to all these cons, going to all these shows and events, and doing podcasts, doing stage interviews, doing blogging, and all that. And after traveling to all these shows and just sitting down in front of people like yourself, I'm like, why is it that if I wanted to actually like look a little bit nicer or something that was maybe a little bit more appropriate for the setting, and I wanted to express my fandom, there just wasn't a lot of options. Even just a few years ago, before companies like Her Universe and others, there was like no options for not just girls, but for guys as well. And so, it was frustrating to me that I couldn't be 100% nerd and also be 100% like professional or in sort of setting where I could be appropriate, right? And so, because at home I have I'm sure the rest of you guys have a stack of like t-shirts and hoodies like up to here, which is totally cool, which is totally fine, no judgment, right? But it was frustrating to me that I couldn't just like express myself in a more sophisticated sort of fashion. So after doing a lot of research and looking around, I thought, well, maybe I could start something. And so I kind of went. My background is in design. It's not in fashion, but it's in design, graphic design, communications, and marketing, and all that. And so I was in my current marketing job, also trying to start this idea of unleashing sort of the hero that's within us, and. I had started I got some prototypes out there, and I was talking to some people, and I felt like I had a real genuine idea that could, be something that changes sort of the fashion geek industry. And I remember I sat down with I had a design partner at the time, and I sat down and said, I think after about 9 months of doing this, I thought, you know what, I can do this. I think that this can be an idea that can really kind of revolutionize the geek fashion industry. But you know what, I have the day job, and I have the mortgage and the family and all that stuff. And I just don't think that I have enough time to do it. Well, you got to be careful when you put something out there in the universe, because 2 months later, I got laid off.
Oh.
Right? And I kind of had this sort of epiphany that I guess when you sort of put something out in the universe, sometimes the universe is listening, right?
Hey, that speaks to me right now, because
right.
today was my last day at my day job.
Oh my God.
They fired her.
No, I actually no, they did not.
But tell him why.
She fired them.
She fired them. Yeah.
I
fired
resigned because I am currently in a show at the Geffen Playhouse, and I figured I'm going to take a leap of faith and pursue more acting gigs after this.
Yeah.
Boom. Yeah. So I just kind of took the leap. If any of you guys know this, kind of starting your own thing, starting a business, a new opportunity, it's kind of like jumping out of an airplane and kind of figuring out how to put the parachute together on the way down.
Oh, yeah.
And so that was a little over 3 years ago. So we're starting our year 4.
Nice.
And so it's been a tremendous experience, a total roller coaster ride. And I've been loving every moment of it.
Wow.
Cool.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is you wanted to have your cake and eat it too. You wanted to be a nerd and look cool at the same time.
Yeah. But what no one fails to tell you is that I want my cake and eat it too. But then I also have to
Bake the cake.
grow the chickens, get the egg, get the flour.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Cook. I have to make
Bake
the
the
oven. It's
chicken.
like
Bake the
so-
chicken.
Yeah. So
Got
it's,
it.
Yeah.
yeah, I have to do everything. Well, that's what
Bake
it's
the
like.
chicken into the cake.
No. You're baking the chicken, going, oh, this is not how it works. And then you have to go get the
I'm
chicken.
supposed to let it lay an egg so I can bake it.
Yeah. So you're figuring all this out as you go along.
Oh, wow.
And so I tell people that are interested in starting their own business that it's it's 8 days a week, 25 hours a day. You burn a candle on all 3 ends, but it's nothing more rewarding. And I'm grateful to the powers that be that allow me to do this every day.
Oh,
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
I love
Congrats on everything.
I
Thank
just want to
you.
give a really quick shout out to Dreamfall. So anyone in the chat, what's up? Geekery hype.
Hi.
Yes. Hi.
Also,
Recreate,
Dreamfall?
what's up?
I see you, Steam player.
Dreamfall, woot. Yeah, longest journey.
Yeah.
Sanko Jam, what's up?
Hey,
Hello
Chris.
again.
How's it going?
And Gutsy J, oh wow, congrats. That's awesome. I don't know who that was to, but thank you for all of them.
Did you say my
Jay.
boy Aaron Nabus is on?
Yeah, Aaron
Oh,
Nabus
it's my
is-
boy.
Oh, you know Aaron?
Yeah, it's my boy.
He's a friend of the
He's your
podcast.
boy.
Yeah.
Also his
Your
cousin.
boy.
And a friend of the podcast. Also his cousin.
Wait, really? His cousin?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Blood cousin?
For real?
Oh, okay.
I just had a question. So as I was reading more about your company also, and I noticed that you have a nonprofit or you donate some of your proceeds.
Well, yeah. So I'm a foster parent. So for 10 years now, my family has been involved with dealing with kids who are in foster care system. So we've had a lot of kids go through our home. We've adopted a couple as well. And so I've always been that's something that's been a passion for me and my family.
Mm-hmm.
So, for us, like with Here Within, being inspired by comic books, when you think of comic books and pop culture, so much of it is the themes of sort of children who are alone is woven throughout comics, right?
Including Batman.
Yeah, Batman,
Robin.
Superman, Robin, Luke Skywalker, Harry Potter, Spider-Man. I mean, so on. Yeah. So there's something very powerful about this idea of children being alone and kind of finding kind of their greater calling and living to their fullest potential. So for Here Within, because I'm passionate about it, we do whatever we can in our community to help and empower foster kids. One of the things we do is we buy and donate comic books because, again, the whole idea of finding kind of your story within these comic books. We donate comic books to foster care events where we get our clothes manufactured. All of our t-shirt screen printing is done through a company that actually empowers foster care youth that actually are employed by this company to help it kind of empower them to be able to get out of their situation.
Oh, wow.
So for us, to create great product is one thing, but to make a difference and to take the opportunity to help those that are more have less fortune than yourself is very important for Here Within. So
That's so cool, man.
Yeah,
and
That's wonderful.
And I mean, and out of my personal curiosity, now are these organizations here in the U.S. or are they?
Yeah. So because we adopted and fostered just locally in our area, Orange County, right? Primarily, our organizations we work with are with the county, with Orange County, LA, that sort of thing. But we're always hoping to expand that into.
So that's
things.
awesome. So
Yeah.
you're giving experience in job opportunities or work for local businesses in
Absolutely.
Orange County. That's
Yeah.
so cool,
Yeah.
man.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Legit.
What part of Orange County primarily do you operate in?
Our businesses are in Irvine, Gardenia. The companies that we partner with I mentioned are also in Santa Ana and Costa Mesa, kind of areas.
Cool.
Yeah.
And
It's
I've
my
had
old hood.
I've had friends who were in the foster care system,
Yeah.
and it's been back in the days well, they're adults now, but the system was kind of different and difficult for them. So, and I think that's a great opportunity, and hopefully that can multiply in other, that kind of model can multiply in other cities.
Well, I'm
too.
hoping that for us, we just don't want to make a big pile of clothes. We want to be able to use this opportunity to tell stories, their stories, that they're more than just sort of a statistic, but they really are people that and they're people all around us. And everyone in this around this table and in the audience knows of someone that was adopted or in foster care or had a really terrible situation as a youth. And so we all can sort of relate. So this is our small way, and hopefully someday it'll be a big way. So
Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So great. Thanks
Hopefully,
so much for
everybody
doing
out there that's watching this is
buy
now
his
savvy to that.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that. So
When do
how,
we stop?
given that you're a huge geek,
Yeah.
how much of that has rubbed off on your children? Are they?
Not enough.
Not good
enough.
Do tell.
I Asian shame them all the time because I'm like,
Geek shame.
I've got one that plays football and one that plays basketball
You're a
and
failure.
one plays. Yeah, I'm just like,
Can't believe it.
what's all
kids,
this?
you're too cool. You're,
know.
you're turning into a
Stop.
jock.
Cool,
Stop
yeah,
it.
I know.
I've got one who's she's into anime and
she's cool.
So you gotta weeb.
and I've
Yeah,
been-
you got to weeb.
I've been introducing her. We're through season 2 of Star Trek, so we're working
Nice.
away
Aw.
through it.
OG
So,
Star Trek?
yeah, no, well, Next Generation.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
okay.
But the rest of them, I'm hugely disappointed. So.
You heard it here, folks.
Oh wow.
I feel like we're going to be hearing that story, that kind of story, more and more with our generation.
Yeah.
No, I mean, guys, you should really check out their website, and I mean, it's great clothing line.
Thank
and
you.
Although, I was commenting earlier, a lot of it's sold out because it's really popular, right?
Yeah. So post Christmas, we definitely got blasted quite a bit. So we're kind of in that production.
They just gotta follow you, so when you start putting out new lines drop
Yeah.
in.
We're actually going to be the next few weeks launching a whole pre-orders for a lot of our existing collection, a lot of things that have been high in demand.
Yeah.
So while we were missing a lot of things today, in the next couple of weeks, you'll have an opportunity to pre-order, and then they'll be in a month or two to come.
Yeah, man, because
So-
I was going through your inventory, and I was like, you got some cool stuff in there.
Thank
The
you.
jackets are hot.
Yeah.
Although in LA, like it's like I, feel,
the
I
winter
love
season.
jackets, but I'm
Yeah.
like I only wear it for like 1 month. And
Still got my jacket.
but I'm just curious, like who's your designer? Do you outsource it to a bunch of people, or is like a bunch of in-house, or 1 or 2 people? Or?
Yeah, just 1 or 2. I design most of it. I have another partner that we designed some of the earlier collection, but I do most of it myself, and so it's one of those things that. Of course, with tremendous amount of feedback from fans. I mean, that's one of the reasons why we go to maybe a dozen or so cons a year. So we have like C2E2 next in a couple of weeks, and then Emerald City and WonderCon and all that. And when we go,
see you there.
when we go, we get a chance to interact with a ton of fans. And so really, it's like the fan interaction, what they love, what they like, what they don't like, and all that sort of stuff. That really is probably the most influential part of what I do. Yeah,
That's wonderful.
What was your first line? Like,
the first line we launched with the DC license, so it was like our Justice League collection. So it was really focused on the big 3: Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman, Flash, Green Lantern. So that was kind of our very first thing we did. And when you do your first thing of anything, I was immensely proud of it. But when you look back, you're like, oh, like I wish I could have, should have, all that sort of stuff.
Well,
and
people
so,
paid for it.
Yeah,
so. That's all that matters.
But I'm very proud of it, and more than anything, I'm just so grateful for the fans that initially bought into the first year of it. Really has enabled this company to continue on. And so for us who really had no credibility, and the big shout outs to Warner Brothers who believed in us to grant us a license.
That's super cool.
But without the fans who really sort of like believed in what we were doing and the need for it in the marketplace, we wouldn't have been able to continue on to get the other licenses and to grow. So very grateful.
So speaking
Like
of
Aaron.
Oh,
yeah,
Aaron,
like
yeah.
Aaron
like
in
Aaron.
the chat.
So speaking of Wonder Woman, you received some form of uproar over creating Wonder Woman apparel for men.
Yeah.
What was
There's an
what was that
uproar?
like?
course.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there were
you
like
know-
people
Yeah.
pushing back
Of
about
course there
that.
is.
Can you tell us about what that experience is like?
Yeah, so when we years back, probably a year before Wonder Woman the Wonder Woman movie came out, we started designing a collection and some few pieces for her, and it just struck me that again I went online. I'm like, how come there's nothing for guys to wear for Wonder Woman?
Right.
And you would maybe get a T-shirt that's got a sexualized image of Wonder Woman, and this is pretty much it, right? Or maybe the W, but even that, finding a W for guys shirt was actually still kind of rare. So I wanted to create a jacket, and I designed a denim jacket that has her W logo stitched in the back, real subtly, and a denim jacket I felt like was kind of innocuous. It's like safe, and it's nothing that's too daring.
Yeah.
And something that everyone would like to wear. And I was really shocked, not shocked, I shouldn't be shocked, but shocked and not shocked about anywhere we posted it, there was, a vocal minority of guys who thought that it was, like, why is a guy modeling it, and it's for girls, and then there was like these homophobic responses to it as well. Anywhere we posted, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, there's always a handful of people that just thought that I don't get it. Why is a guy wearing the jacket? Like,
So a girl can wear a Superman jacket, but a guy can't wear a Wonder Woman jacket.
Well, it's funny you say that because we would have it at a show, and you'd see a couple walk up, and she would say, "Oh, honey, look, like Wonder Woman jacket would be great." And he's like, "Well, I can't wear that. That's Wonder Woman." And she would say, "I wear Batman all the time. How come you can't wear?" And then you kind of see the light bulb sort of like flicker on a little bit. Yeah. And so for us, like it was great to see that. It is just it's 1.5 pounds of denim, but it's great to see how it can actually like move the needle of change a little bit. Just to kind of cause some conversation. And so that's what I'm really proud that that Here Within is hopefully more than just clothing company, but it's something that could at least help sort of like spearhead some culture conversations. The best part about it is that once again, even though it came under some criticism, like fans came to the rescue, and I sold a whole bunch of them.
I was gonna ask you, like, how's got numbers on
Yeah,
there.
so I was very
Thank you,
grateful for
Lord.
that as a result because I just felt like so many people uplifted it through social media, came to the defense, talked about it. A lot of websites picked it up and talked about it, and gratefully, like the community sort of rose up and sort of like championed it. So I'm very grateful.
Yeah, and in which we have the graphic right
yeah,
there.
yeah,
And,
It looks fantastic.
it's
Very
it's
cool.
so subtle
It's
too.
also
and,
so subtle and understated.
Yeah.
I thought
Like, would anybody get mad
I wouldn't
about
even
that?
think.
and I mean, I
looks
just
really
want to say,
good.
like, it's great that the numbers prove the haters
Right.
wrong.
Yeah.
But I think at the same time, it's like the curse was a blessing in a
Yeah.
sense because
Yes.
it's PR either way.
As
right?
a side note, I also found a subculture of Weezer fans who.
Yes.
And I also found
Yes.
another subgroup of Whataburger fans. who are So you never know.
Were they really ordering?
Yeah,
thinking,
yeah, you never
wow,
know. You're
that's-
like,
I mean, I
I'm
can see
like,
the Weezer
more
fans
power
go
to
That's so
for it.
funny.
Aaron Davis in
What
chat
does
says,
W stand for?
I get props for all the time when I wear my Wonder Woman jacket. From
Nice.
Aaron Davis. in
Nice.
chat.
I should just be like, oh, cool, you made a Walter jacket. Dude.
It's funny because
Buy the Walter jacket.
years ago, before the Wonder Woman movie came out, my friend, a guy who's a huge comic book nerd, he came one day wearing Wonder Woman socks. And I remember doing a double take.
Yeah, yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, hey, that's Wonder Woman. And everyone around me was kind of snickering. Like, Shane's wearing Wonder Woman socks,
Yeah.
Weak.
And he said, I don't see what the problem is. Wonder
Right,
Woman's cool.
exactly.
And that's like when it hit me, I was like, wait. Why can't he wear Wonder Woman? Wonder Woman is cool.
Yeah.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the day I became woke. I
The
woke
cool
up.
thing is
Yeah.
that just a couple years later, when Captain Marvel came out, we made a unisex Captain Marvel jumper bomber jacket.
That bomber jacket is
Yeah,
dope.
and the feedback was considerably less, and so as far as the negative feedback,
Right,
and
right,
so
right.
Okay.
so I really feel like just in a few years, like a lot has changed.
It's
A
you,
lot has
Tony.
changed.
You made it happen. You made it happen
You are-
with
No, no,
Waterburger.
it's for shade.
With
Yeah.
Whataburger jacket.
Twist.
I tell you one thing that changed the Waterbury jacket was that as soon as the movie came out,
Yeah.
then there was like a lot of guys like, do you still have that that jacket?
Waterbury.
So honestly, it's great movies. Like
this makes me
it's-
happy.
Yeah, it's great movies that actually
Wow.
do all the heavy lifting. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
But also, like, men can look up to women and
Yeah,
not lose
absolutely.
their
So
masculinity.
to test these guys and how woke they are.
I'm wearing a Tomb Raider.
Oh, true. All right,
there you
Walter,
go.
step up.
NASA, we're
Yeah.
the first female astronaut with she broke the record for
Right.
longest spacewalk.
I still think you should have a Walter jacket.
Shout out to all my
Yeah.
male Tomb Raider Lara Croft fans. out there,
The
by
rest of
way.
the crew, yes.
Shout out to all the women astronauts and engineers.
All that note.
Needless to say, with Wonder Woman 84 coming out this year, we'll have a lot more product for guys and for
Oh my
gals.
God.
so,
Buy from
yeah.
you?
Like 80s themed
No,
clothing.
I'm allowed to
Yeah.
buy from here.
Well,
It's all
Oh
gold.
my God.
Discount for
Gold jacket. I'm predicting it right now.
Okay, well, yeah, we're looking forward to the 1984 line coming.
my
out.
I mean, what
God.
do you?
Yeah.
With the shoulder pads,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
For
Okay.
sure, absolutely.
for
So,
it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what do you guys like to see in geek clothing? I mean, this is the opportunity to.
Okay,
Oh my
all
God.
right, we're going down
Market
there.
research.
Okay.
All right,
Wow.
Okay.
Let's see.
see what
Hulk lingerie.
I was
that's
thinking
number one
about-
on my
It's
like green.
I was actually thinking about. Are you okay?
I mean, that could be.
It's just like edible lingerie.
It's all corn.
It's like purple sweats.
It really never
I mean,
does.
there might be some questionable thing, like it's all corn, like
Never
dress,
is.
like,
Oh my
Trans
God. It's like, does this
Dragon
not
ass.
fit or is this supposed to be this way?
All right, you heard it here,
super
Tony.
stretchy.
I know,
Super stretchy.
You know how to
I
make it.
mean, there might be a market for that too.
It's always 10 sizes too large
Yeah,
for
I mean,
girls.
I think a Black Widow lingerie that would be popular.
Of
Is,
course, you
is
want
Of
that
course.
for your girlfriend.
Can chat hear me?
Yeah.
Sneakers. Do you guys have sneakers?
You know,
shoes?
we don't. We've been talking through sneakers.
Or maybe hats or something?
Hats.
Yeah.
I love hats.
I was gonna wonder about
snapback.
accessories actually, because the
Yeah.
thing that came to mind was
My
like, oh,
mic
like
is a little low.
scrunchies, like 80s style
Sure.
scrunchies for
Yeah.
like Wonder Woman or something.
What about
You know?
Cool.
Spider-Man
Can you hear me
webbing
now?
Bracelets.
Thank
Oh,
you.
like gauntlets.
Or
Thank you, Chat.
I don't know.
arm warmers. You know those like the fingerless arm warmers with
Oh.
the Just me. Okay.
Like the ones that we had for the cyberpunk
my hot
shoot,
topic
the,
days. Exactly.
Right.
We're working on a little sneak preview, a little Wonder Woman fanny packs.
Ooh, fanny packs.
That's a good one.
my
Yeah,
childhood
very
one.
80s.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know if this is also part of your jam, but like wallets, I think are dope.
Well, it's
yeah.
You want one with a chain too?
Yeah.
hey! Wow, that's a great wallet.
That's a super.
Is that
It's a
your
Captain
type of
Marvel
wallet?
girl either.
Mine is a dice bag. So
Nice.
whatever.
I thought you said
Nerd.
dime bag.
Yeah, dime bag of what?
Well, I cannot
What do you put in
wait
dime
to
bags?
check
I
it
don't
out.
know.
Dimes.
Dimes, nickels.
Man, yeah, I really like the Batman line.
Yeah, it's funny because like even though there hasn't been the Batman sort of the stock has gone up and down
Well,
with different
yeah.
movies.
Right.
Batman is just like perennial favorite. Like if you don't have a particular favorite hero, everyone defaults to Batman.
Yeah.
And so whenever we make Batman products, whether it's we have like a bomber jacket and we've got a pea coat and we've got t-shirts and hoodies and light jackets and all that, but like fans just love it. So Batman's been like a favorite of mine and favorite of fans for a long time.
Like I would love like any Spider-Man or Venom
Yeah.
themed styles. I think that's cool. Like I personally love that. Or
Right.
Captain America.
Right now we're living in Star Trek. So Star Trek is our newest license, and so,
Yeah.
so we're coming out.
Well-
we're kind of at the beginning phases of our Star Trek.
Oh yeah, I
license.
saw some of those designs. Those are,
Speaking
like, the
of Star
t-shirts.
Trek.
Oh,
Sorry.
right.
Yeah,
Sorry.
speaking of Star Trek.
We're talking
handing
to
you the
you.
ball.
Yeah.
He was
That's a good
trying.
point. He was
Okay.
trying. He's the only one that was paying attention, as always. Anyway, Star Trek Picard is what we're going to be talking about today. Yeah. So I know we all took the time to catch up on it right here at
Yeah,
the
you did.
table.
Totally.
Yeah,
Totally caught up.
totally.
Completely.
If anybody doesn't know, it's the new Jean-Luc Picard-centered series on CBS All Access. It premiered on January 23rd, and we have 3 episodes out right now, so it's been pretty cool. What does everybody think so far about Picard?
Okay, so for one, of course, it's Patrick Stewart continuing reprising his role, except it's many years in the future, right? After he has been
Retired.
retired from the Federation, but also disgraced by the Federation for, morally.
For a very Kobayashi
very
Maru kind
moral
of like
decision that he made.
decision.
Yeah.
You couldn't win it.
The thing is, I don't really have a Star Trek background, sorry, but I love sci-fi in general, and it reminded me of 3 different things. It reminded me of some of The Expanse, which I saw, is primarily with attacks on Mars or intergalactic politics in that way. It reminded me of. What was it? Oh, yeah, The Last Jedi, actually, because, like a retired, disgraced elder who was a master at what he did is disenchanted with the organization that he was once a part of, but then finds inspiration and hope in this new power in the form of a young woman, you know. And then it also reminded me of Detroit Become Human, the game, which is, all about androids gaining sentience
Right.
and whether or not they have human
Spoiler
rights.
alert for people
now
who
that they
haven't
are,
I know, yeah.
yeah, now that they
Pretty
are
obvious. Yeah.
clearly
Well, anyway,
people.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah.
I personally, I like it just because, for several reasons, but one main thing is the fact that I'm getting to see Starfleet and Earth in the future, because
Right.
I realized, I was like, man, yeah, all the Star Trek shows have always been on a ship or on a station.
Right.
And now we're seeing, San Francisco, and my hometown, San Francisco.
And France.
Yeah,
France.
France and the underpants. No, I'm just kidding.
I think that was cool.
What?
We did
Paris,
see
France,
we did
Sorry,
see
really childish.
12-year-old.
we did see Starfleet like in what is that? The second Star Trek movie.
Yeah, but it's very brief. But
Right.
this is like now
Yeah.
you're like
Yeah.
experiencing
Kind of living in it,
Earth,
right.
you,
and the politics of it.
yeah,
so-
the
Yes.
politics,
The politics,
and the fashion,
yeah.
and even the fashion with Earth clothing. Because in other Star Trek heroes, everyone's in uniform.
Right.
Can I
know.
ask, as a newbie to
Yeah.
all you actual Star Trek geeks, I was confused initially because, seeing the new movies come out and going like, oh, Captain Kirk is like the leader of the whatever, and then there's Spock. And then you realize like, oh, Picard is like a huge thing too. But like,
It's all
how do
separated
they
by
differ
time.
in
Yeah, so
which
generations?
they're
one
all
comes first?
generations.
Yeah, Kirk is
Yeah.
first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ah, he's like the original.
Right. And then so that's the NCC 1701A, which is the first Enterprise, right?
Yeah,
The one that we
My
have
brain
in
just hurt.
TNG in
Okay.
the next generation is the 1701D, which is 4 iterations after. So Yeah.
It's actually,
Those are the years. Is
No,
what
those are the iterations of the ship.
yeah.
what? Oh,
like versions.
wow.
It's like
Yeah,
How do
versions.
you
You
know
gotta,
that?
you gotta
Oh
think
my
of the
God.
Enterprise like right now we have a aircraft carrier called the Enterprise.
Right.
And so it's just generations. So eventually Enterprise becomes a starship.
Yeah, it's just the
Wow.
namesake is
Right.
continues on.
Passed
Oh
on.
my goodness.
You know, we have a
That
space
is-
shuttle called Enterprise, and so it just
Wait,
sort of
so
like
the
continues
names
on.
of the
Whoa.
it's not like the names of the shows correspond with the name of the
No,
ship.
No, it's not.
I was gonna say.
Sometimes it does. DS9,
incredible.
Voyager.
Yeah,
Voyager,
Voyager.
Right.
But
But
then
Next Generation is like about 75 years after like the
The
Kirk,
original,
Spock,
yeah.
McCoy
It's the Next
generation.
Generation.
Got it.
The 1966 sort of old school,
Yeah.
and then so it's like it's a while later, and then
Yeah.
so we're kind of living.
and then they had Enterprise, which is Scott Bakula.
Right, the
and then
first-
that was like
yeah.
way back at the beginning when. They
Which is
first
why
came
the
out.
first J.J. Abrams Star Trek was such a big deal because it crossed the timelines.
How so?
Because you had original Spock, like
Right,
Right.
okay. Yeah. So Jen, you're a noob. You're a noob, right?
I'm
So
a true
you're,
noob.
You're a
Trek
new
noob.
Trekkie. Okay.
Yeah.
So am I. And I think it's fascinating that I haven't really watched a Star Trek episode until
Yeah.
now. I saw the
Yeah.
movies with Bay.
Yeah,
What's his
Chris,
name? Chris Pine.
Chris
Yeah.
Pine.
Bay.
The J.J. Abrams movie.
With
Yeah.
Bay.
That's
Yeah.
right.
And
and Benedict.
and other Bay.
Other Bay.
Benedict.
Benedict
I
Cumberbatch.
was asking the
Cumberbatch?
others earlier today. I was asking
Penguins.
them, is it just me or are they using a lot of jargon? And is this real? Are these real scientific terms, or is
There
it
are a
just
lot of
made up
technobabble.
within universe?
It's a lot of it is technobabble.
Star Trek's been known
Yeah.
for the technobabble.
See,
so
now
they-
I feel like I'm
Yeah.
part of this club. Like I
Right.
get it now.
Like dilithium crystals. and-
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was
and
like, what's
Positronic Network,
But out
tachyon
of all of
beams.
the
Yeah.
sci-fi movies, TV shows, films, whatever, Star Trek's always made an effort to
Right.
make it scientifically based. It's a lot.
No,
of
but I
bending, it's a lot
appreciate
of
that.
you
Yeah,
know.
It,
but
they
it's-
didn't have to do that.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
but they
they're-
did it.
Yeah,
They try
they're-
to take a foundation and then stretch it to the.
I like that.
Like-
They're a universe
Yeah.
creating
Right.
also.
Yeah.
No,
so-
but I appreciate the extra work that goes into it. Like now I know that Romulans are a very neurotic kind of paranoid bunch, right? And they're very
Right.
secretive.
And they're also related to
isolationists, kinda?
Vulcans.
They are
They're
they.
They look so
Cousins.
Yeah.
similar
Vulcans,
to
yeah.
Vulcans.
Wait,
They're related.
Vulcans are Spock.
Or Spock.
Yeah.
Who? But they
They both have
They both
pointy
have
ears
ears
and the eyebrows.
They're cousin.
They're
they're
cousin
cousins.
races. Yeah.
They're like Koreans, Filipinos. Man. We're all.
yeah.
Or yeah, or
They all
think
look the
of, like,
same,
yeah,
they look the
Asians-
same.
Maybe they're wrong.
Asians and Native Americans, like they got separated through the land.
There was a bit of
So
like
white people think they all
evolution.
look the same,
Yeah.
but really not.
See, I thought they were
we
the
can tell the
same. I
difference,
couldn't
you
tell
know?
the difference. Yeah.
Yo, what's funny though is my girl was like, they just pluck too hard. Like the Romulan eyebrow.
Oh yeah, it's a pretty steep ascent. Yeah.
But there's 50 years of Star Trek, so it can be confusing, like where the on ramp is.
Right.
Because it's
Right.
like, do I have to? If I'm gonna watch Picard, do I have to watch like 50 years of Star Trek? You don't have to.
No.
Things help, you know,
Right.
for sure.
Yeah.
But it is a little confusing at times where to watch, what to watch, and all that.
mean,
But you
so-
both picked this up pretty,
Oh yeah, I mean, like
Quick.
I picked up the dramatic conflict pretty easily. I mean, which is
Pretty
that
straightforward.
You know,
Right.
like for some reason, synthetics went rogue and caused wars
Right.
on Mars, and they're pinning that, of course, on synthetics when really there could be some kind of secretive Romulan and Earth collaboration to make that
Yeah, I
happen.
mean,
Right.
it was totally
You know?
hacked, but
I like how this is like because Star Trek for the most part in the past has painted a very like utopia society. Like
Right.
everything's always like pretty, like everyone's on the same page as far as the
Mm-hmm.
humans are concerned. And this version of Picard, it's kind of like it's a little bit more like Battlestar Galactica, a little more Blade Runner,
Yes.
where things are not as perfect as we thought they were,
Mm-hmm.
and that there's a little bit more like intrigue, a little bit more backstabbing, and all that. So I think it's great. It's more of a show that reflects today, that as far as it's hard
The
to trust
complexity.
people. It's hard. It's different factions, and so I think that they did a good job of if they took Star Trek of the past and tried to make it
Today.
I
Right.
think that would seem false. But there's
Yeah.
more of like, okay, this is more like our Star Trek. So.
It does feel that way. I mean, like I remember this one line that Picard says when he and Rafi, right, his original partner,
His original number one.
His original number
his previous
one.
number one.
and they come out of the Federation after he has just resigned and she was fired. And he goes like, nobody is thinking, nobody is listening. They're just reacting.
Yeah.
Right.
And I just thought immediately back to 2016.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I knew it.
Like,
Well, even
yeah.
when he's doing an interview with that news reporter, and she's like,
She's trying to goad him.
yeah,
into,
and she's saying how like those I forget her exact words. As far as not wanting to save the Romulans, and he was very specific. It says those people, like those are real people that, regardless
Right.
of who we are, we need to save them. We have a
Yes.
moral responsibility to help them.
Yes.
And so the whole idea of like the other, the immigrant, the different, like a human responsibility to
Yeah.
care for them,
Yeah.
was like it's very relevant for today.
Yeah,
Agreed.
and pushing
So-
against xenophobia.
Yeah.
We do have a question in chat. First of all, what's up to Books and Bobs? Guts Heat J asks, you do have like the Batman blazer and all that. Are you thinking about or planning like a Dick Grayson one?
Dick Grayson?
Robin.
Nightwing.
Yeah,
Robin or
we
Nightwing,
do
yeah.
get a lot of Robin, Nightwing. So a lot of the extra Batman family characters,
Right.
we're kind of waiting for a major movie to sort of push out some of the
Got
new
it, got
stuff.
it.
And
Right.
so,
Makes
so we
sense.
do have a lot of the characters sort of on the shelf, like ready to, or on the back burner. But as soon as we kind of have that, Matt Reeves movie sort of more in the forefront,
Right.
then we'll have more of the sort of the orbiting characters out there. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Nice.
Sorry, what were you going to say?
Oh, so I just wanted to bring it back to Picard.
Picard, right?
Okay.
I was going to bring it back to Picard.
Okay.
But one thing, just kind of a general thing for me was it's been super awesome just seeing Sir Patrick Stewart back in the role.
Yes.
Because you kind of forget like the kind of gravitas that he has when it's like,
He's so graceful.
yeah,
He's like
it's so good.
effortless.
He
Yeah.
can make the stupidest lines sound perfectly serious. and dope.
What kind of stupid lines, okay?
I mean, no stupid lines.
yeah.
None.
Right. But I mean, I'm also excited to see like who else the other cameos. We've already had Lieutenant Commander Data.
Yeah, for a brief.
I heard we're going to
Yeah.
get Guinan. We're going to get
Troy and Riker.
Troy and Riker
I
as
mean,
well
he
and their
invited
family.
Whoopi on
Yeah,
the show.
that's
Yeah.
Right, he
Yeah,
did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Whoopi Goldberg was a
Goldberg.
character in
Yeah.
The
The
Next
Next
Generation.
Generation.
Wow.
She was kind of like, the bartender, like
What about Reading Rainbow Guy?
LeVar Burton.
Yeah, he's just being it too. He's
Yeah.
just-
Oh
my
so we're gonna get him, yeah.
God!
I was thinking
Yeah.
Commander O. She's not.
She's so good. Tammy Oh my God.
She was like spitting poison.
Yeah,
like
I know.
fire. She was
Wow.
great.
Yeah, so
She
great.
tweeted that like maybe a few months back, and I was like, "Oh, I wonder what it was going to be." And then when she showed up on screen, I was like,
Wow.
"Damn!"
So
She's
do we
a
think?
bamf.
Do we think she's her character is by appearance is Vulcan?
Vulcan,
but is
right.
she
She's Romulan.
Romulan.
She's
for
Romulan
real,
to
you
me.
think?
Right.
How do you guys know she's? How can you guys tell the difference
It
What,
almost
you
just has to
can't?
be
I mean,
between
like
Filipinos and Koreans?
I know racist.
Specious.
No, they all look the same. to me.
Well, if you're part of, so Romulans are not a part of the Federation,
Right.
And so for her to be in such a high position,
Okay, it
she,
means-
she would be
Vulcan.
Vulcan would be her own.
But she's also been stated
so
as like
secret.
yeah.
She's a
yeah,
spy.
but she's probably
So are
she's
the
clearly a spy.
Romulans like they're in trouble with the Federation and they're not allowed to be part of them?
Well, they've
or-
been warring
Right.
forever, and then their planet blew up, and then they're refugees right now on that Borg cube, and so they're not at war with them.
Yeah.
But we're frenemies, I
Right.
think. Frenemies. Or
Okay.
Frenemies.
so
It's kind of like a
after
Cold
World War
War.
II.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wait.
Cold War.
But
yeah.
they're not a part of
Yeah.
the Federation as far
Yeah.
as
Gotcha.
Did they
Federation
come from a planet called Romulus?
Yes.
Of course, because
course.
Romulus and Remus started
Yes.
the Roman
Yeah.
Empire, and
Right,
the Roman
right.
Empire had a
There you
downfall.
go, yeah.
Oh my God!
And then
People
Vulcan is
name
also
these
Vulcan
things.
is a
Roman
planet.
Oh, it's
god.
also
Oh
but
my
Vulcan
God.
is a
Roman
god.
god.
Is a
Yeah.
god. Oh
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
And
God!
Romulus and Remus is also another twin planet.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice. Okay, got it.
Okay.
Romulans are actually emotional.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah.
Versus-
Vulcans
Vulcans are-
They embrace-
value their
they embrace
stoicism. Yeah.
Okay, so like
So
Vulcans are
she
definitely
playing.
Korean.
She plays. Yeah,
No, I'm
she
just kidding.
playing, but she actually Filipino.
The Romulans are also Filipino. Also emotional. Wait, who?
Very emotional.
It's a construct.
Everybody is emotional. Oh God.
And speaking of Filipinos,
What?
let's talk about
Isa Briones?
Hey!
I was like,
Yeah.
when she came
First
on screen, I
off,
was like,
With
what?
Dr. Frankenstein. Hey.
Sorry.
But East West
Or what is it?
Players
Wait, I'm at a
alumni
loss. What are we talking
represent.
Isa Briones, Dodge.
Dodge.
Oh.
Plays Dodge.
He's like, who?
Yes, of course.
She
of
is
course.
the daughter of John
yeah.
John Briones.
What's her
and
sister's
a
name?
Filipina.
Soji.
No, Dodge is the one who
It's
died.
Right.
Dodge and
So-
Soji.
Soji?
Soji.
Soji.
Yeah.
Is she half or full?
She's
She's half
half.
Filipino.
half. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
French or something like that? Or
White of some kind.
believe it's
Thank you,
British
Books and
or
Boba,
something
for
like that, yeah.
subscribing. Thank you so much, Books and Boba.
Don't know this. So explain Isa's background.
Yes, of course. So Isa is the daughter of John Briones. He is a very famous Broadway actor. He originated the role of the engineer on Miss Saigon.
He didn't originate it,
Oh.
but he was
He
on the
played it for a
London
long time.
London tour and then around the world.
And he
yeah.
also
Yeah.
played the father of Gianni Versace in American Horror Story or American Crime
Yeah.
Story.
So he's a very
Assassination of Gianni
prominent,
Versace.
Filipino American actor, and she is his daughter and followed in his footsteps. She is also a very gifted musical theater
His
Singer.
wife,
performer.
his wife Megan is a theater actress or actor also.
Really?
Yeah.
See, that's why she's
Singer.
good. Her family's artistic.
Family.
She's
I
just
love her. I think
Yeah,
she's so
she's
charismatic.
great.
great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's great.
Yeah,
she
so great.
actually, well, anyway, fellow East West Players alum. She also
Right.
played Natalie in Next to
normal.
at East West Players, and more recently was
She's in
Peggy
Hamilton.
In Hamilton.
Oh.
Well, I didn't
Yeah.
know she played Peggy. Yeah. Oh, well, she was in the national tour.
For Peggy,
So
as
girl
Peggy,
is
right.
talented.
Wow.
And she needs to come on this show yesterday.
Yes.
So
What's up? We
Isa,
got a chair
what's
right
up?
here.
What's good?
No, no.
What's good,
Yeah.
Isa?
Hey, yo, when you see Dodge like blow up at the beginning,
I
I'm
was like,
shocked.
wait,
I was
no,
like-
she's not really dead, right?
No, what I told
was
her,
right.
I said, wow,
don't
that was
know.
a smart choice.
Right,
so
right.
all that marketing was just to
Yeah.
Yeah.
sidetrack us.
I was like, just how they treat an Asian actor.
that's what we're thinking. But then we get the
hidden
get the,
twin
we have
plot
this
line.
Right.
sister. But what did you think of that? Because like the soothsayer, right? She says like, "Oh, are you the one that dies, or are you the
one
destroyer?"
who lives. Right.
Right. So then
The destroyer.
I mean, I guess Soji is the destroyer.
Whatever that
Whatever that means.
It could be the destroyer to the Romulans.
Yeah.
Oh.
You know.
I mean, man, yeah. I just hope there's more fight scenes because that was cool.
I'm
impressed.
I can't wait. Yeah, the choreo was really nice.
And I found out that was her. That
Oh,
was
really?
mostly her.
Oh, nice.
She has a
Wow.
martial arts background.
Whoa.
Oh
and,
my God!
awesome.
Of course she
Could this girl
does.
get any cooler? Like, I know. Get on our show already. Get on our show.
And yeah,
Apparently, you have an open invite. So
I know. Yeah.
and she was saying like,
We're
yeah,
not
the only
begging.
thing I didn't really do are the flips. That I can't really do, but the fight stuff she did.
Right.
And I think in one interview she was like, yeah, I just have my stunt double do the flips and running up the stairs. Those I can't do. I was like, fair
Running up the
enough.
stairs. Yeah, that's
I
cool.
feel you, girl. I
Right,
don't want to
right.
run upstairs either.
Me neither. Yeah.
I love her. She's like, I didn't know Romulans are hot. She's like, yeah, they're hot.
I know.
Me neither.
Is that dude like? I mean, is he for sure?
He
gonna
is
be evil, or do you
objectively
think
cute.
Oh, I
Is
think
he
that
big-
dude's.
but-
She's
Right.
talking
Oh, I
about-
know that you're asking.
No one was talking about that,
Sorry,
but now we know.
I thought that's what you meant. Yeah.
I mean, yes, I think he's bad, but I think he's gonna be one of those like, oh, he might become good later.
He might fall in love with her and like, you know.
The funny thing is,
change sides.
as I was watching him, I was like, this dude looks like Harry Connick Jr.
He has that feel, the messy hair.
I was like, how did Harry
wanna
Connick
know,
Jr.
yo.
get on the show?
Though is like how they ended up in a Borg cube
Well, I think it's the one that Picard like
at the end of Nemesis.
Yeah, that separated from the collective. And
Oh,
that's what-
okay.
so it's just dead now.
the one at the end of
and
Nemesis.
They're trying to
Okay.
research it.
That makes sense.
Deep
I guess.
cuts.
That's how. Yeah, sorry. That's
Nemesis was the last Star Trek movie in the TNG storyline.
Wow.
So that's one where Data dies.
and
then
Picard
Picard's-
becomes a board.
Yeah, another
Yeah.
theory is that you know how we got introduced to Hugh, who in the
Right,
TV
Hugh,
show,
that's right.
he was a Borg that got reclaimed, and then he basically led. He kind of woke his fellow Borg up when he kind of left to do their own thing.
Right.
And so the idea is that somehow he was involved with
Reclaiming
reclaiming
this
this cube somehow. I guess maybe we'll find out more.
So the way the Borg works is like they're kind of hive mind, and they assimilate you like into their hive
Collective.
and into their collective, and you become one with their hive mind. And
It's kind
you're
of like Apple.
Kind of
Right.
like
So
Legion.
Imagine
like Legion,
that all
kind of like
encompassing.
Yeah,
Apple.
yeah.
Everything's the
Ubiquitous.
same.
Right.
and
Apple
Yeah.
owners.
Yeah.
What?
That
Well,
reminds me of
Shots fired.
oh, man.
Mac owners, yeah.
That reminds me of Legion, the race that
As I'm on a Mac,
does anybody know Mass Effect here?
Yeah.
right?
You know,
Legion,
yes.
right?
Legion's
And
race
17.
is called what? The Geth.
Geth.
It's called the Geth. I just answered my own question. But yeah, they are a hive mind as well. The entire race operates collectively.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like, to have a Borg reclaimed and have get their personality restored is a big deal. It happened to
Wow.
Locutus. I mean, sorry, to Picard.
Picard.
Oh. Oh.
It happened.
What?
Look,
What happened to him?
he was assimilated by the
he
Borg.
became a Borg.
And then he was called Locutus.
So if you Google
Sexy.
what episodes to watch before Picard, it'll give
Yeah.
you like a
Oh,
list
nice.
of handful
That's great.
of-
Yeah.
And there's some
Oh.
great episodes to prepare you to watch. Yeah. It's called Best of
Yeah.
Both
Yeah.
Worlds, and it's a fantastic 2-part series.
Oh, it's so good.
Whoa.
But there's some great lists out there of like helping people who are just getting into Picard,
Yeah.
like know what episodes to watch.
I would love to take a look
do
at
it.
those.
We should do
do it.
that.
Yeah.
TNG's all on Netflix now, right? Yeah.
How many seasons?
All
Seven.
like 7, yeah.
7 seasons.
And I do like how, and I was just when we were talking about it earlier, how it's kind of like a story, a whole season story, where in comparison to like the original, which is like just episodic.
Yeah.
Right.
And which is the change and growth in like just how we absorb stories now. Like back then, this would have been crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I know I could talk about Picard forever, even though we have 3 episodes because there's such there's 50 years of history there. But we do have to move on to our next little bit because it is the week of Valentine's, not the day of Valentine's. We're going to talk about our dream character ships.
Yeah.
So each one of us, secret to only 2 of us.
Yeah, I forgot to give Christian my.
So only 2 of us
Oh, I was
Sorry.
supposed to. Oh, my bad.
It's fine. It's fine.
gave
Just say
gave
it.
Krisha our secret ships, our secret OTP one true pairings to talk about for Valentine's Day. And who gave Krisha?
I
gave
gave her
Krisha
one. I feel like the people who haven't put one in should
do
go
it now?
first,
Yeah, let's
so
do
that they don't have any.
Yeah,
you know
no
what I mean?
pre-planning. Who are your Let's start with
So
this
these
side.
are fictional
what?
characters, right?
Yeah, fictional characters.
I
No,
wanna
real
ship
people.
Together. Yeah, I mean,
Any 2 characters in the entirety of geekdom
Yeah,
that you could ship together, who would it be?
from 2 different franchises.
I'll
you
go
know.
if you're
Oh,
thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tony, what's up?
So when I got this notice, I thought, let's see, ships. Millennium Falcon's my favorite. and then I read more. I was like, this is different.
The Black
than,
Pearl.
Okay. So in rethinking that, speaking of Picard, he's older and he's like alone, and the brother just deserves some love. All right, I mean, a lifetime of heartache.
Yeah.
And so I thought that President Rosalind from Battlestar
Battlestar.
Galactica. Yeah.
Oh.
She's got a thing for military types. He's got a thing for redheads,
Wait. Who?
Picard and Dr. Crusher have a background. The redheaded doctor.
Beverly
from-
Crusher.
From Next Generation.
Wesley's mom.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Did we see her?
Shut up,
in
Wesley!
Picard?
No,
we
no.
didn't see her.
okay.
in Picard.
But she's
But he
going to be
likes
on
redheads.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Who doesn't?
but that would be I think a perfect matching because they're both like high-powered leaders, influential. They both understand like political drama and honestly, Commander Adama, who she's with, he's a little bit too much of a curmudgeon, a little bit too much of like
Adama?
Yeah, he's too negative, right? So Picard, I feel like has a little bit more like optimism to him. I
Right.
think she
Yeah.
needs that. So.
He's a little more, just
Yeah,
empathy
he is.
Yeah.
He is.
than
yeah.
Adama does.
Yeah.
Nice.
Adama will crush you with his eyes,
Right.
and I think that like she needs someone who's a little more kinder.
Got
so.
that Edward James almost gravitas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my dream ship.
Nice, that's a good one.
Nice.
all right.
Anybody
Okay.
else?
Walter, Caitlin.
I can't.
I got one. And in keeping with the Star Trek theme, I'm gonna go with Captain Janeway
Okay, Janeway.
with Han Solo.
Okay. Wow, explain this one to me.
Wait, which age Han Solo?
Yeah. Good call.
Ooh,
Younger or older?
Younger.
Oh, nice. I like that.
Cradle Robin.
Yeah, I'll let her be the more mature type. Like I think I'm gonna go with that just because I could see Janeway. She kind of has. I think she has a thing for bad boys. It's not in her.
Well, she's straight
Starfleet
narrow. She's
box.
straight
Yeah,
narrow, and-
he'll
yeah.
bring some spice
And
to
Hans,
her.
Yeah.
And
Han Solo is the
Solo-
quintessential bad boy.
Yeah, and he likes. I mean, that's why he went for Princess Leia. That's, but Janeway actually has, military experience and
Right.
structure, and again, she's a ginger too. So who doesn't like a ginger?
Who doesn't like Ginger? Ginger.
And he comes with a pet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like,
And he's open-minded to alien races too, just like Janeway. So
Yeah.
there he goes.
Nice.
All right.
Caitlin.
Caitlin, as you wipe your makeup on your mic.
Okay, so
My horse
it's
prince
ironic. I
and-
was so
My horse
I was
prince
so
and
excited
you.
to play this game that I forgot to choose my. I mean, I sort of had a pair in my mind, but then I was like, oh, I'll revisit that, and I never did.
Tell us the sort of
Well,
pair.
what was the
Okay,
sort of pairing?
so
if you give us one, we'll help pair
okay,
the
so,
other.
so okay. Well, I was thinking like maybe Kylo Ren
Oh God.
and then like Yennefer or something.
Oh.
But
What
initially
a
it was like
fiery relationship
Initially,
that
it
would
was.
be.
I know. I want to see
Dude.
some fire. I want to see some like people fighting and making out at the same time. You know what I mean? So like,
That's gonna be violent. Just
Wow.
like punching you while you're like, no, I don't
because
think they'll be punching
initially
each
it
other.
was
Jesus.
Jamie Lannister and Yennefer, but then I was like, no, I think
That's
she'd
the
think he's too. I don't know. Yeah. So I wanted some like people with dark energy to just
Oh.
kind of
Some
like
fire.
Just go at
fire.
it.
Yeah,
Dark
to just
fire.
go
Have
at
a
it.
little talk later.
Maybe.
I know.
Maybe. I said it was dumb. I said it was dumb.
Sauron and
Kylo Ren and Sauron.
Toxic relationship. Kylo Ren and Sauron. Oh wow.
That's a lot of black going
gay
on. It's just
ships.
black,
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
Maleficent.
Darks.
Maleficent and
Kylo
Sauron.
And
Maleficent
Sauron.
Sauron. There you go.
Maleficent Sauron.
What's wrong with evil OTPs?
No,
I
there's
like
nothing
a
wrong with
bad
evil
bad
OTTs.
show.
It's like shipping Slytherins. You know that could happen.
Exactly.
Slytherins.
Ooh, Maleficent and
Draco Malfoy.
Snape.
Oh,
Maleficent and
wishes.
Snape?
But don't you think opposites attract? I feel like,
Yeah.
you know, unless you
Right,
think
right.
that-
I think
true.
birds of a feather flock together. Personally, so.
birds of a
is
feather
true.
attract.
They do. Yeah. Okay. Moving on. Moving on.
Jen.
That was dumb.
Let's
Okay,
go,
okay.
Cher.
Mine is in there somewhere.
Yeah, Jen.
Where is,
you have
where
one
is
coming
it?
up? We
Where
have
is
a
it? Is it coming
image.
Oh,
out?
yeah, graphics.
Okay, here it comes.
It's coming.
Yeah.
This one's got my vote.
Wow, really?
This one's got my vote.
Agma and Gandalf.
So Agra
tough.
from the
Agra,
Dark
Agra,
Crystal and Gandalf the Grey.
Dude, Gandalf's got that daddy-looking face right now. Like he's ready.
I know, look at
Smoking
this.
that pipe.
Smoking that
But he
pipe.
himself.
That
is
old
smoking.
Toby
I think
up
they've
in
already
here.
messed around a little bit. You
I
can look
think
at
so.
them.
He just
They
did
took
it.
on
Right,
each other.
right.
He looks very satisfied. He's very satisfied right now.
Gandalf's
They
like, I want to
gained
get
a
I
couple
know.
of wrinkles from being with each other.
It's the post-coital smoke.
Oh yeah, totally.
Well, it's a debate. Which one is older?
It kind of is.
Yeah, yeah.
But at the same, I feel like this is a really healthy relationship because they probably take a lot of time away from each other and still like have a good time. You know what I mean?
Thousands of years
like
away.
she's like
Yeah,
astral
thousands.
projecting and she's like, I'll be back in I don't know, 15 years. And he's like, oh yeah, I'll be
15
back
years
in
is a
15
blink
years.
of
Just
an
be
eye.
with the hobbits. I'll see you
Yeah.
later. Like, you know what I mean?
I'm surprised it wasn't Dumbledore and Gandalf.
I wish it arrives precisely when he means to. He comes precisely when he means to.
Precisely.
Was there a double entendre there?
Yes.
Why are
Did
you
not
guys like
notice?
giving me the eye? Sorry.
All right, Earl.
Earl, what's
Okay,
yours?
Earl's
Okay,
had-
what is this?
Embarrassing.
just it was a toss of the dice.
You guys are gonna hate me, but it's okay.
Should we do like a drum roll?
It's Harry
Yeah.
Potter.
Yeah, let's do
and-
this.
Yeah.
No.
The
No.
the Ebon
God.
Hawk
No.
from KOTOR, from
No.
Darth Revan's ship,
Oh
No,
my
we
God.
don't
and
here.
the
No.
NCC 1701D.
No!
The
You have to go
Enterprise.
with humans or like living
What?
sentient
What
beings.
I
is
mean,
this?
they do kind of fit. The jigsaw. It was
Yeah, yeah.
Oh
If you
jigsaw.
see,
It just
Which one's the positive? Which
Yeah,
one's the
it would,
negative?
it would
Oh
kind of
my
scissor
God.
it's like
together.
slip right there.
right, yeah,
no! Oh my gosh!
it's possible
Anatomically
because
possible.
the Ebon Hawk is the ship of like one of the the most renowned galactic badasses, Darth Revan, and
Wow.
then NCC, the Enterprise, of course, is like if you think about who pilots, and it's Picard. He's like he's a paragon of justice. So I think like those two could go together.
Anyway,
You know-
Explore new worlds.
Somebody's so mad right now.
it's time to
Yeah.
vote. I know who's
Okay.
not winning.
I know, we know.
Show.
Captain Janeway and
So,
Han Solo.
do we point on the count of three?
Okay, we'll point on the count of
1, 2,
two,
3.
three.
Oh no, I'm gonna go to Tony.
Ooh. I
Two.
is it?
There's two. Yeah. There's
Two
a
for
tie.
Tony, two
I
for
will
Jen.
defer to Jen.
Oh, I will.
So
defer
Jen
to
wins.
Tony.
No.
No,
Do you
Jen
want
Captain
champagne? Do you want
Janeway
champagne?
and Han Solo? No.
You win.
Oh, what? Yeah!
Yay!
Wow.
So we're about those chocolates.
Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah.
the
Do I get the
prize?
chocolate?
No, that's for the
don't.
game.
That one,
Oh, that wasn't the
Sorry,
prize?
there's a game
Oh.
coming.
I
For the
thought
special-
I thought I lost the chocolates.
No,
Oh,
for the
man.
No, we're
special
gonna-
viewers and listeners who care about us deeply, they'll be tuning into the YouTube game special
Right.
How
so,
do they see this YouTube?
on YouTube.
special?
Right. So, are we? This is we're ending the live stream, right? So, I mean, this brings us to the end of our live stream. Like Caitlin said, we are going to be filming the game portion of our show, and we'll be putting it up on YouTube for subscribers and stuff. Is it for subscribers? We haven't figured that out yet. So
subscribe.
Yeah.
Just in case.
You want to see it?
But so we're going to be playing a game about ships. Matching the ship is what I heard. But
Game.
would you like to play a game? Anyway. Thank you, everybody, for tuning into our stream. Thank you to Tony B. Kim for being here from Hero Within.
Thank you, man.
Please do follow
Live
him.
long and prosper.
Live long and prosper. Thank you to PWC for housing us here, Filipino Worker Center. That's pwcsc.org. Thank you to the crew, to Arnold, to Rodney, Krija, Jeffrey, and I think Jedi's out there, somewhere out there. So somewhere out there. Thank you so much for joining us, chat. Come see us next week. Hit us up on all the socials at PanGeekery, Instagram, Twitch, Facebook. All at PanGeekery, PanGeekery. It says that back there. Yeah, I'm going to point. Anyway, hit us up next week, every Monday, 8 p.m. on twitch.tv/PanGeekery. Where can we find Tony? Where can we find you, Tony?
HeroWithinStore.com and HeroWithin on all the socials.
Hero Within on all these socials.
MySpace. You can find me on MySpace.
MySpace.
Nice.
I'm bringing it back,
Zynga.
baby. I'm
What was your
bringing it
Asian
back.
Avenue?
Hey, what was your,
Asian
who's your
Avenue
top
address,
8?
man.
Did you have top 8? Yeah. So, all right, everybody, thank you for joining us. See you next week, and bye.
Bye.